Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. How y'all doing this afternoon? Let me tell you something, man. I've been out here hustling today. But I got time now to make a video. Because what I want to talk about is how they're scoring these fights, right? We understand that they score it round by round. But I personally think the way they score fights, and I get it, there's a set of criteria that actually comes into play. But I personally think that boxing matches should be scored minute by minute of every round, man. Let me pull something up. Should score a fight. I want to see if I can pull something up. I should have pulled it up before I actually sat here and got on this video, huh? Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me see. Let me see right here. So, first let's understand this, right? Let's look at this real quick. So, this is about boxing, okay? How is the fight scored? Now, I didn't pull up 10, 11 articles like I normally do and then draw the similarities across all the articles and then initiate my conversation. I just pulled this one up. I apologize for not doing better research, but this is good enough. It talks about the modern boxing scoring system is known as the 10-point must system. We've all heard that before, right? This says, here's a basic overview of how it works. Judges score each round individually on a 10-point scale. Most rounds are scored 10-9. Whoever did better, getting a 10. The other guy getting a 9, right? If a boxer is knocked down or hurt enough to prompt a standing count from the referee, the fighter loses the point. So if a boxer dominates a round, controlling and landing better punches throughout, and also knocks their opponent down, the end result is a 10-8. We all know that. If both fighters score a knockdown in the same round, the deductions cancel each other out. So it will probably still be a 10-9 round in favor of the better boxer. See, this is where it gets a little sketchy, all right? Two guys are fighting. One is getting the better of the other guy, drops him. The other guy comes back and drops him. But there's still a chance of it being a 10-9 round instead of it being an even round. You guys understand? That's the ambiguity in all this. Okay? Now the next thing. A judge is able to award a 10-8 round without a knockdown. If the fighter scoring 10 dominated the round by a huge margin, this is usually only used if a round is totally one-way traffic, or perhaps if a fighter was saved from a knockdown because the round expired. This means somebody gets hurt, right? So it could end up being a 10-8, and we've seen that happen. Where somebody it's just totally one-sided, all one way, and make it a 10-8 round. But this is the thing. It's subjective. It depends on the judge who's watching the fight, and it's up to he or she to make that decision. And that sucks. And judges are also able to award a 10-10 round if the round in their eyes was completely even and there was nothing between the fighters. Now, this 10-10 round crap, y'all remember what Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia? Gervonta dropped Ryan, right? He dropped Ryan Garcia. And they made that shit a 10-10 round. Now, if you go and you look at this, it says judges are also able to award a 10-10 round if the round in their eyes was completely even and there was nothing between the fighters. That round with Gervonta Davis dropped Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was coming on, and then Gervonta tranquilized him. That shit should have been a 10-8 round. But what I'm pointing it out because this lets you know they do what the hell they want to do. And this goes on to talk a little bit about 10-10 rounds. You know, are 10-10 rounds really allowed in boxing? Yes, the judge has the right to score a round even, just as they do to score it 10-8. without a knockdown. Judges are encouraged to avoid it as much as possible and to only use these scores if they truly feel it's the correct appraisal of that round. This urging is to ensure they are not overused. The 10-10 round in particular can become too easy a fallback option for judges. So again, it's up to the judge's discretion, which to me is crazy. Now, let's look at this here, right? This is the criteria that I keep talking about. You know, this is why I say they should be scoring each 3-minute round by minute. So the first minute, second minute, and third minute. And the reason that's important to me is because I just went in there, and rewatched the first 6 rounds. I fell asleep after that because I got up at 5 and then I went jogging and everything else, right? But anyway, I fell asleep on round 7, so I got to watch 7 through 12. But the first 6 rounds, right? This is me scoring it round by round. I don't really know this criteria. You know, you hear it all the time, but that's why I'm pulling it up. But let me tell you what I did. In round 1, right, I'm going to get back to this criteria that the judges are encouraged to use to determine who wins the round. In the first round, I had Haney winning the first 2 minutes and Loma winning the 3rd minute. But the thing is crazy, right? If Haney wins 2 minutes out of the 3 minutes and Loma landed some clean shots, but Haney won the goddamn round. Now, when I'm watching the fight, right? When I watched it live, Haney's landing clean shots. I'm seeing it, but it was nothing that was, he didn't hurt him. He didn't stun him. He didn't make the smaller man wobble. Didn't make him go back. Didn't get him on the ropes. But Haney was very effective and accurate and disciplined in what he did, right? But Loma comes on and catches him with some flashy shots. And the thing is, the first 2 minutes, he was kind of quiet and just, downloading data. And then he explodes and lands this combination. And everyone goes crazy. The commentators, the crowd, and even I'm like, oh shit. The round ends, and it's like, damn, Loma got him. But that first 2.5 minutes wasn't even, nobody even paid attention to that. You know what I'm saying? It's all gone out the window. But that's why I break it down minute by minute. Because if I watch just a round, that action that happens the first 2 minutes, hey man, I'm not saying I forget it all, but I'm more focused on how the round ends. And that's why I decided. So I'm going to tell you, so that first round, first 2 minutes with Devin Haney. Some of that third round was Haney, but then Lomachenko landed some good shots. So that first round was for Devin Haney. The second round, I had Haney, all 3 minutes. Don't get me wrong, he didn't really do much in that round. I had Haney, all 3 rounds, all 3 minutes. The third round, I had Haney the first minute, Haney the second minute, and then Loma the 3rd minute coming on, but I put close next to that 3rd minute. So again, the third round, I had close because Loma did some good stuff, but the majority of the round was Devin Haney. Okay? But that's where it gets crazy, right? Because I'm sitting here with that third round. Some people scored that round for Lomachenko. And that's where it comes back to this right here. Here are the following areas in which boxing judges are encouraged to determine who won and lost a round. That's why for me, it was hard to say who won, who lost that round, because I'm not understanding this. So effective aggression. Being aggressive gives the impression of dominance, but unless the boxer is landing shots and not constantly getting countered, it isn't really effective. Judges look for effective aggression where the aggressor consistently lands punches and avoids those from his opponent. When you understand just that first part of the criteria, right? If Lomachenko is not letting his hands go, and Devin is, by default, you have to say Devin is the effective aggressor. If Lomachenko is doing that, which he did in some rounds, you got to say he's the effective aggressor. But again, I'm giving this to you all So you guys can have a better understanding of it as well, okay? When you're going forward and you're sitting at home and you're scoring the fight. Because right now, everyone's all over the place on how they scored this fight with Haney and Lomachenko. Now, the next thing is ring generalship, the fighter who controls the action and enforces their will and style. Then defense, how well is the boxer slipping, parrying, and blocking punches? Good defense is important. Hard and clean punches. To the untrained eye, it can appear as if a boxer is landing a lot of shots when in fact, most are being blocked or aren't landing flush. A judge needs to look for hard shots that land clean. That right there, the hard and clean punches, is something that I would say Lomachenko did in some spots. But for the most part, some of his shots were missing, but he landed a lot too. But when you watch the first 6 rounds, Loma did land hard, clean shots. And this is where it gets complicated. It's not easy. You watch Devin counter him, pop shot him, land a body shot, right? And he's doing that for 2 minutes of a round. Not combinations, 4, 5, 6 punch combination, not Juan Manuel Marquezing Lomachenko, but pop shotting him, keeping him at bay. When Lomachenko does get in close, he hits him with a little short, counter. Or Devin, was using his forearms too. He was doing what he had to do. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Lomachenko explodes and catches Devin. Hard and clean punches. Maybe Lomachenko in some of those little spurts, right? He landed the harder and cleaner shots. But 2, 3 punches compared to what Devin Haney did over the round. When you look at this criteria, it's kind of hard to give some of that to Lomachenko. But this is the other problem. Some judges, because boxing is about who can inflict the most damage on their opponent. Some judges, when they watch this, they're looking to see who's doing the most damage. You may throw one punch in a round that starches your opponent. And he could have been, pity-patting you all damn night, all damn round. And you land that one bazooka, you know what I mean? That missile of a right hand or left hand on him. Only one shot though. But that shot carries a lot of weight to some judges. Is that fair to give that person the round? Because when you come here, right, and you look at this criteria, it's pretty conflicting. Hard and clean punches. How many hard and clean shots? 1? Well, you look at ring generalship, the fighter who controls the action and forces their will and style. If you get a fighter who's controlling the action and forcing their will for 2 minutes and 45 seconds of a round, and then at the end of a round, one fighter lands a super hard, missile of a right hand or left hand shot and has the other person frozen on the ropes, do you come now and just say, oh, I'm going to give the round to the guy who landed the 1 or 2 hard shots? Or you're going to look at the guy who, for the most part, over the entire round, control the action and force their will and style? So when you look at this criteria, it's conflicting. But it just depends on what a judge likes. And it's subjective and it's crazy to me. But it is what it is. Okay? So now, the first 3 rounds I had for Devin Haney. Round 4, the first minute, second minute, and third minute, I had Haney. Round 5, the first minute I had Haney, second minute I had Loma, the third minute I had Haney. Round 6, the first minute I had Lomachenko. But the second and third minute I had Haney. But understand this. So when you look at what I did here, right? Round 1, I had Lomachenko doing some good stuff, but I gave the round to Haney. Round 2 was all Haney. Round 3, I had Lomachenko doing some good stuff, but I gave the round to Haney. Round 4 was Haney. Round 5, I had Lomachenko doing some good stuff, but out of the whole 3 minutes, I had Haney, for the most part, controlling the action, right? And round 6, Lomachenko came out doing amazing. But the rest of the fight, the second and third minute, Haney, for the most part, controlled the action. But when you look at that, right, out of those first 6 rounds, right, this is my chicken scratch, right? You see, this is my chicken scratch, okay? I know it looked like I wrote that shit with my foot, but it doesn't matter. The first 6 rounds, I gave every round to Haney when I scored it by the minute. When they judge fights, they don't do it by the minute. They do it by the round. But you can easily understand how out of those first 6 rounds were when I... this shit is crazy, right? When I went back and rewatched the first 6 rounds, I have it 6-0 Haney. But when I sit here and look at it, the fact that I've 1, 2, 3, 4 of those rounds, I had Lomachenko doing some good stuff. You can easily make those first 6 rounds 4-2 for Lomachenko. So anyone who's new to the channel, you don't know me. But those who've been on the channel, because I've only had the channel for a year, you guys know me. I'm fair. But that's why I came up with this criteria for every round, judging it minute by minute. And when I did it minute by minute, I came up with Devin Haney 6-0. But if I don't do it minute by minute and I just sit back and I'm watching the action, you talk about ring generalship, Lomachenko moving around, in and out. That matters to some judges. You understand? So when we come back and we look at this criteria, effective aggression. Some people feel Lomachenko moving around, getting out of the way of shots, although he's not doing much, right? He's not consistently getting countered. He's not really landing shots, but at the same time, he's not really taking punishment. He's moving around. He's getting in and out. Devin Haney looks like he's more on the defensive because as soon as Lomachenko gets close, he's letting his hands go. But it depends on how you want to define effective aggression. All right? It's really a gray area. It's very ambiguous. It's very frustrating. Okay? So it is what it is. But now when we come down here and look at type of boxing results, if nobody won via knockout after the scheduled number of rounds, the judges' round-by-round scorecards throughout the fight will determine the winner, with each round being worth a maximum of 10 points, okay? So it is what it is. Unanimous decision, all scorecards basically determine whoever's the winner, right? Split decision, you got a couple judges for one guy, another judge has it for the other guy. Majority decision, 2 judges have it. 2 judges have one fighter ahead, while the 3rd judge scored it a draw. Draw if one judge has boxer A ahead, one judge has boxer B ahead, and the 3rd scored it a draw. We see that happen all the time. Majority draw if 2 of the 3 judges have the fight even, but the 3rd judge had boxer A ahead. Such a slender edge is not enough for boxer A to be declared the winner. Instead, it's declared a majority draw. And we've seen those things happen a lot. But since we're talking about the scorecards, right? Look at this. This is the scorecard of Tim Cheatham. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I look at his scorecard, right, and I see how he has on the left for Vasily Lomachenko, right, I did the first 6 rounds. And he had the first round, Haney won, 2nd round, Loma won. Okay? 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, all Haney. Then from round 7, 8, 10, and 11, he had for Loma. Now, I haven't scored rounds 7 through 12. I need to go and do it. I'm going to do it tonight. But what I'm getting at here, I had it 6-0 for Haney. He has it 5-1 for Haney. But I also said you could kind of judge it, depending on what you're looking at, 4-2 for Lomachenko. He didn't have it like that. Some of those other judges did. But out of all the scorecards, just me getting to the first 6 rounds, right? Because that's all I stopped at. This right here, out of all the scorecards, seemed to be more spot on. Okay? And that's why I wanted to bring that to your attention as well, to show you guys that. All right? So that being said, scoring each fight round by round, hey man, they need to sort that out sooner than later. because I really think there's some added value to breaking the rounds down by minute opposed to the whole 3, and I think that will help with some of these decisions. Now, look, man, corruption is corruption. The secret society is real. So there's going to be decisions that happen no matter, or there's going to be stoppages as well, like Rolly Romero and Barroso, right? There's going to be crap that happens that no matter what, we're not going to agree with. Damn, Pernell Whitaker and Julio Cesar Chavez. That was a damn robbery. You know what I'm saying? Probably one of the most ridiculous robberies. There's so many, right? But Fernando Vargas and Winky Wright, that was sickening. Paul Williams and Sergio Martinez, that was crazy. All right? And who was the other one that came out and they were shocked to find out they won? I'm trying to think. I remember he was very surprised to find out that he won the fight. God damn. Because the way he reacted. I'm trying to think of who it was. It was recently, like in the last year or two, where he could tell he didn't expect to win. I can't remember which fighter that was, but they announced his name and he was shocked. It'll come to me. But anyway, talking about corruption in secret society. How many of y'all knew Bob Arum? This is a rumor now. Paulie Malignaggi put it out there that Bob Arum supposedly signed Devin Haney. He re-signed Devin Haney to Top Rank 2 days before the Lomachenko fight. How many of y'all knew about that? Now, we're going to find out if it's true. That could explain why Devin was talking so nice about Top Rank. That could explain why Bill Haney was calling Bob Arum the king or some shit. And that could explain why Bob Arum was sitting there in the chair when Lomachenko came out and was kind of saying, hey man, yeah, you won that fight. I don't know what the hell the judges were looking at. That, if there's truth to that, right? That tells me that, man, there's just no hope. There's just no hope, man. Because me watching it, I'm telling you, I think the first 6 rounds, Devin Haney won majority of those rounds. But I'm also saying, depending on how you're looking at it, you could say Lomachenko had it 4-2, okay? But I personally, had it 5-1 maybe for Haney. But when you look at the fact that if this is true, right, you can understand why people have these conspiracy theories and people are here talking and saying they wanted to invest in the younger fighter. Because if Bob re-signed Devin Haney, why re-sign him 2 days before the fight? And then with his connections, we know Bob Arum got the goddamn connections. Why allow Devin Haney to lose when you just re-signed that man 2 days before this huge fight? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't Bob see everything? Let me tell you, we're looking a little deep into it, but everything kind of makes a little bit of sense now. Couldn't understand why there was no talks of Shakur Stevenson, no talks of the next opponent, all that. I'm sitting there watching Bob. Normally he's already talking about who the fighter could fight next. He said, Bob Arum said this, that the contract was up between Devin Haney, the team Haney, and Bob Arum in Top Rank. That's what they were saying during the damn post-fight press conference. So everyone's out here thinking, I'm thinking Devin Haney's going to Matchroom. I'm like, well, he probably going to go back to Matchroom. Eddie Hearn will be glad to have him. So we're going to find out if what Paulie Malignaggi said is correct. But Paulie Malignaggi said some other stuff too about the only people that think Devin Haney won. He said, what did he say? Some crap. Paulie Malignaggi says stuff about race all the time. You know what I'm saying? Paulie Malignaggi will say any damn thing. Let me see if I can find that crap that Paulie Malignaggi said. And you know what? As much as Paulie Malignaggi gets on my damn nerves, he'll say anything, won't he? Paulie Malignaggi just does not care. That man will say anything when it comes to boxing. Okay, that was it right there. Let me see if I can find it. He said something about the fight, and you know, right here. Paulie speaks his mind and says a small percentage of people who felt Devin Haney won were simply happy that the white guy lost. Let me pause this, right? I'm not going to play it because that's fight height stuff and I don't want no problems. Paulie says the small percentage of people who felt Devin Haney won were simply happy that the white guy lost. This man hasn't learned his lesson with his mouth. I've read through the comments and stuff, man. Let me tell you, there's a lot of people who felt Devin Haney won. Not everybody looks like Devin Haney who felt that he won that fight. But I don't know why Paulie Malignaggi, you know, maybe it's a good thing to have somebody like that who likes to stir the pot, get conversations going, and help us with content, you know, because he gives so much. But at the same time, that's what got his ass in trouble over there on Showtime. And Paulie Malignaggi is a good commentator. It's his mouth. It's his mouth, man. And they need to find a way. Well, they can't. It's, I mean, freedom of speech, but Paulie Malignaggi, man, I just don't see it that way. But I make an effort not to boil everything down to race. That's just not me. But some people will sit there and look at that. I'm not saying that we can't have those conversations, but not everything is boils down to goddamn race. And I don't even like those conversations. But that being said, Paulie Malignaggi did an interview with Fight Hype. Go out there and check it out. You want to hear what he has to say. He says a lot. But I just think Paulie Malignaggi will get his butt in some hot water at some point in time because of the stuff that he says. You know what I'm saying? There's even people who came out here in the comments and said it's not a color thing unless the color is green. And I agree 100%. It's all about money, man. You know, and this guy here says nonsense. Let me fix this for y'all. Because it is nonsense, you know. I'm a black fighter. I actually wanted Loma to win and even had money on him winning. So you see, Paulie Malignaggi, not everybody who was happy to see Lomachenko lose had anything to do with looking something like Devin Haney, man. You know, and we got to stop with this whole fueling all the fans with this race rhetoric and trying to get people to pick sides and create divide. You know what I'm saying? Love all, hate none. Stop with the nonsense. It is what it is, man. But that being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. And what I do is I encourage you to go back and, well, going forward, right? Any fight, when you're watching it, break it down every round in 3 blocks for each minute. And as a first minute, I put the last name, the initial of the last name in the block for the first minute. And then as the second minute goes on, I put the initial for the last name in the second minute block. And then the third minute block, I put an initial. And then I look and see whose initials are in those blocks, and then I determine who won that round. Now, if somebody gets knocked down, I'm scoring at a 10-8. I don't care if they're losing. If you get your ass knocked down, it's a 10-8 round. I'm not the whole 9-9, 10-10. Got time for that. But then again, that's one of the issues. Everybody gonna look at it differently. But that being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. It's kind of interesting, right? It's a lot to talk about. I could do 30 videos on the same subject, and they'd all be entertaining and fun. But anyway, that being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. I gotta take my kids to basketball practice. In the breeze.